Welcome and thank you for joining us. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm your host, Daniel Davis. On the program today, we're going to be digging into a life that most people have become very familiar with over the many years, in fact, more than 4 decades. On the program today, we're going to be talking with a very special someone who has created icon status with such films as The Incredible Hulk and the television series The Incredible Hulk as well. He has held both Mr. Olympia and Mr. Universe titles and also starred alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in the documentary Pumping Iron. He's also had many other stints and many other things as well, and we're going to be talking about those today as we explore life beyond 50 with actor, bodybuilder, and personal trainer, Mr. Lou Ferrigno. Lou, thank you for joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, I know that you're going to be in Portland, Oregon here next week, which is the 3rd week of February for Comic-Con. Tell us about what you're going to be doing there first.
Well, I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. I'm going to be there with, my pictures, my posters, and my Polaroid camera. If fans could get a chance to take pictures with me, like do a photo op. And I'll be talking to the fans. And also, it's a great show for different families, kids, and they get a chance to have fun, play video games. It's a great convention.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I know we'll be looking forward to it. Now, I'm kind of curious, Lou, how did all this start for you? I know you became inspired by the age of 13, to get into bodybuilding. Hercules Steve Reeves was one of the people, or at least the person predominantly that you were inspired by. But did it actually go back further than that for you?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I was always fascinated with power because when I was like 12 years old, I could read a lot of different comic books like The Incredible Hulk, Superman, and that led me to bodybuilding, and I discovered weight training because I've always wanted to have admiration and respect for people because, being an introverted child, I was always getting beaten up a lot, I was abused a lot.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's interesting because today that seems to be one of the forerunners of topics, there is, especially in the world, is that of bullying, and obviously that was something that motivated you to the level that you were at today. How can people kind of address that particular issue, and do you talk about that when you're out, on your circuit?
Well, say that again. I got a bad connection here.
Oh, not a problem. I was talking about, you were saying that as a child that you were bullied, and it seemed to be one of these things that moved you forward, that motivated you. What would you say to children especially, how they can hopefully overcome something like this and how to use that to motivate themselves?
Well, it's all about being a better friend to your body, mind the body, because if you maximize your personal power, you could be very successful because every one of us is different. And I never wanted to take a second street to anyone because of my hearing loss and because I had difficulty speaking. So I always wanted to excel whatever I did in life, and that gave me the self-motivation to be the best I can be. And that's the best advice I can be, like compete with yourself. Do not compete with others because you will lose.
Mm-hmm. Now, you started in 1971 in which you were Pro Mr. America, and that was as a teenager, and it extends all the way through the mid-part of the 1990s. This is something you really got to stay focused and consistent with when it comes to training and bodybuilding. Talk about the motivation that gets you up every day to be able to achieve this.
Well, just like I said before, it's all about competing with yourself and maximizing your personal power.
Okay. And that's how you share that with other people as well?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. And that extended into, did you ever find that your life actually was going to extend outside of bodybuilding into the arena where you started getting into film and television?
Well, I've had dreams and everything, and I just follow my dreams.
Oh, very good. Outstanding. Now, what was one of the most exciting things for you when it came to competing and actually winning the titles that you did?
Well, winning the Miss Universe, that was my lifelong dream. At the age of 21, I was like, well, the youngest one to win the IFBB Miss Universe. Oh,
fascinating stuff. Now, tell us about that journey to get there.
Well, I know it's a long story, and basically I began it as a kid when I was 12 years old, and I weight trained for years, and I won the Teenage America and the Miss America, and I just followed my dream.
Mm-hmm. And then you also trained alongside with Arnold Schwarzenegger as well, as I understand. Right. And I remember that in the documentary Pumping Iron is that your father was featured in there. Was he also kind of alongside helping you to train to do these things?
No, not really. We had like a love-and-hate relationship. It's only from the movie.
Oh, I see. So he wasn't as predominantly as, in that as it seemed to be featured in the film.
Right.
I see.
So I just basically just had to motivate myself.
Okay, very good. Now, what do you find yourself doing these days? What are your passions?
Well, being a sheriff for 8 years, I do a lot of work with it. I'm a deputy sheriff with the Los Angeles Sheriff Department. I have a movie coming out called The Liberator. It's a great action film. And I'm very involved in the Ferrigno Fit that's going to go online March 4th globally. It's all about how you become your own personal trainer. It's an online training program.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that people can capture worldwide from your website?
Yes, there's a 12-week training program at it's an incredible price, how you can motivate yourself, help yourself, and life lessons for myself, and all about getting in shape. I mean, you can maximize any kind of potential.
Oh, fantastic. Now, I know that as you got involved with television, of course, a lot of people remembered you from your role, the Incredible Hulk, but you've been in other things, too. Did you ever expect that getting into weight training, bodybuilding, that it would actually move you into these arenas? Was that something that you always had your eye on, to be able to do something like that?
Well, I've had dreams and everything. Everything fell into place. Like when I got the audition, I heard about the audition for the Hulk, I jumped at it because it's something I wanted to do. But in my time growing up, there was only one bodybuilder making movies by the name of Steve Reeves, so it was difficult back then. So it was a matter of I just happened at the right time, and I've had dreams I never told anyone because I thought people would just laugh about it, but it's just all my dreams came true.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you say to people, especially young children, when it comes to, you said through bodybuilding that you learn a way to gain your own personal power. When it comes to fulfilling your dreams, is it the kind of process that sometimes is painful, or do you just kind of stick with it until things happen? What would you say to them would be a process, sort of a way that they can follow to be able to do this?
Well, I do a lot of seminars. I do a lot of motivational speaking. To answer your question, I think it's all about embracing the fear factor.
Okay. Now, that's something that a lot of people have trouble overcoming. How would you suggest they do that?
Well, I do that at seminars. I would just say be positive and embrace fear, and don't be afraid to take the next step.
I know it's kind of crazy this day and age. Most people, think that it's kind of one of these things that are quick, that is easy, and that somehow if they figure out a way they can align things to be perfect, that they might be able to avoid that. But
right.
It seems, getting those kinds of things, overcoming those fears, that there is going to probably be a little bit of pain, but that's kind of personal change, though, isn't it?
That's kind of what?
It's personal change that it takes
exactly.
that you have to go through.
You have to motivate yourself,
Okay, yeah, personal change, definitely. Now, I know most recently my wife and I actually enjoyed the television show The Apprentice, of which you were on. And was that as brutal for you as it seemed to be for other people who were in this?
If I was doing television?
On the Celebrity Apprentice?
No, it was tough because you're dealing with 18 egos. So basically,
yeah.
I was just being honest, and but nobody wanted to get fired, so I had a lot of fun. I mean, I had a chance to show what a smart businessman I was, and not to be have to have more respect for me because they expected to see the Hulk on the show, but they were kind of surprised. I was the only athlete to make it to 9 shows.
I know, it was actually fantastic in some ways. We were glad to see other people go and, hoping that you would be able to stick around as well. But, yeah, you see that process and you think, is this really how the business world is? Has it been any way like that for you, in the business world as you've been out there?
Yeah, because you're dealing with 18 egos.
Right.
And it's not fun, and it's tough, and you have to be quick. So, I was honest, and that's why I never said a bad word about anybody, because basically I was honest in the boardroom because everybody else is involved in a backstabbing circuit. But what I love about the show is that Donald Trump allowed 18 celebrities to raise money for charity. To me, that was something I really have a lot of respect for.
Now, talk about the charity that you were raising money for and how you came to be motivated for that.
Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Okay, and what got you motivated in that arena? Is it?
Well, I had a friend of mine that had muscular dystrophy when I was young, so I wanted to do the movement for them.
Oh, okay, very good. And how has that been for you so far to be able to raise? Are you also a spokesperson with Muscular Dystrophy Foundation
Great.
as well?
I mean, on the show, I raised altogether about 90,000 on the show.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Now, I also understand that you also worked with Michael Jackson, training him for his concert tours. What was that like to work with the King of Pop?
He was great. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed being with him.
Fantastic.
I can't talk much about him because of all the litigation going on, so I can't comment too much about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. But it was just interesting to find how your life kind of morphed into other areas that, like I said, sometimes you can't know that when you have a particular passion,
right,
where it's going to lead you. It's kind of interesting how did you find yourself at times allowing life just to kind of unfold itself, and you just said, hey, I'm going to enjoy taking whatever comes in front of me.
Yeah.
So flexibility is very important, just like flexing muscles.
Exactly.
So what do you see yourself doing on the horizon? What are the new things that you see coming up for you?
Well, I like to be involved. My goal is to do another sitcom, which I enjoy doing comedy because I did a movie called I Love You Man. I was on King and Queens for 7 years. And that's something I really want to do because I enjoy making people laugh, and I just love comedy because it's hard, it's funny, and I enjoy the instant gratification from the audience.
And these are shows that you tend to do that are live in front of an audience, then?
What's that again?
They are shows that you do that are live in front of an audience?
Yeah, I mean, King of Queens for 7 years in front of a live audience.
Wow, incredible stuff.
Like 200 people, yeah.
Now, how did you come to get into that? It was actually something you wanted to do, or did somebody say, hey, Lou, did you ever consider trying something like this, and just found that it was something that you loved? Did you feel that you fell into it, or it was something you wanted to go do?
Well, I did a movie called The Godson with Rodney Dangerfield, and it was a comedy, so the producers on King of Queens saw my performance. They invited me to be on the show, and because they enjoyed me so much, they gave me a recurring role, so that's how it all began.
Fantastic. And now, when you're out, do you do regular, as you were saying, you were doing, I guess, motivational speaking. Do you do that around the world?
Yeah, I do it for a lot of corporations, different companies. I talk about maximizing your personal power, embracing the fear factor. And that's very important because what I've come from when I've done that, anybody can achieve anything if they put their mind into it and just follow my instruction.
Very good. Outstanding. Now, you have a website people can go and find out more about what you're doing and what you're up to. Could you give folks what that is?
Yeah, it's called LouFerrigno.com.
Okay.
And the other one called Ferrignofit.com. Those two websites, and it keeps you posted what I'm doing. I have my pictures and my biography, and my Facebook and Twitter as well.
Oh, very good. Now, what would be the core philosophy? I know you touched on that earlier. It's conquering fear and being able to go out and achieve your dreams, that you could talk to about people to get started today to change, because as people approach midlife and actually move beyond, and perhaps they've suffered or had disappointments in their lifetime to where they feel that they just aren't sure if they can get up and do it again, but you realize that people who get focused on what it is they want, what it is they want to achieve, that a lot of times that it happens a lot faster than they think. What would be a good core philosophy that you could share with people, to kind of get them moving?
It's kind of hard because I talk about that in my motivational seminar. It could be hard to talk it over the phone because it takes some time. But the best I can say is that it's embracing the fear factor, because that's the most important thing. And when I do the motivation speaking, they can come to my speaking engagements and learn from me.
Oh, very good. And they can find out more about that from your website then?
Well, plus also have my book out on my website, my life story, what I've done to overcome the obstacles, and they can learn from my book and my DVDs. And so those are the many, many tools that I could provide that they can learn from to be successful and change their own life from negative to positive. Oh,
very good. And you were also involved with a documentary, Stand Tall, as well?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal film. You can learn from that. It's incredible. It's available on my website.
And tell us about Stand Tall and what that's about.
Well, it's my life story. I come back to competition. Talked about I came back at the age of 42, back to compete again to be the against the top bodybuilders in the world, and also all the adversity I had to go through to be a champion. It's a great 90-minute documentary. It actually is a sequel to Pumping Iron.
Oh, very good. Yeah, because I remember when George Foreman came back into the ring and actually became world champion at his age, and it was just really amazing to see that, life, as you move beyond 50 or, a lot of people think that's the time you're kind of being put out to pasture, but it's actually the time that magic and miracles really begin to happen.
Yeah, it showed that life begins at 40.
Oh, very good. Outstanding. Well, Lou, thank you. It's been so much and been a wonderful pleasure to have you here on the Beyond 50 radio program.
You. I'm looking forward to come next week to meet the great fans in Portland, and I know they're nice people, so thank you for having me on your show.
You bet, and go ahead and give out your website again.
LouFerrigno.com, and the other one's Ferrignofit.com.
Very good. Lou, again, thank you for joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program.
Okay.